My name is Alex Rawson. I'm responsible for learning and development for Movenpick Hotels and Resorts in the Middle East and Asia region.
Hello, and I'm Craig Cochran, Director of Human Resources for Movenpick Hotels and Resorts in the Middle East and Asia also. We're here today to talk to you about our top tips for what not to do during a job interview, or rather what to do during a job interview.
Now, my first tip is one that we all know about and have heard a lot about, is the power of first impressions. So the top tips of what not to do is things like don't come late to the interview. Make sure that you press that shirt or the blouse, and make sure that that jacket is well pressed before you meet that client first thing in the morning. And the power of that handshake. Just be aware of the strength of the handshake and those first opening words that you can offer to your potential employer.
I think a good piece of advice that I can give is always remember that you are being interviewed. Any good interviewer will attempt to put you at your ease and make it feel less formal in order to try and find the real you and to get you to open up and be honest. And don't let that lull you into a false sense of security that it's not a job interview. It is. And on many occasions I've had candidates who feel so comfortable that they let rip a little swear word, or perhaps a statement that is not politically correct or something of that nature, and it all goes in. So always remember that you're being interviewed.
Mm-hmm. And really, I guess to lead on from that, to prepare for that interview and take it seriously, the research around the company is essential. So don't turn up to that interview without having some knowledge about the company, and there's a huge amount of resources that you can tap into to find that out, whether it's websites or journals or any newspaper articles, and that's essential. That really shows that there's an interest in the company that you're approaching.
Absolutely. Between us, Alex and myself have interviewed many people over the years, and there's nothing worse than turning up and not having research the company that you're going to be interviewed for. It leaves a very bad impression. So do make use of the resources that are available and know the company that you've applied with. I mean, at the end of the day, you're hoping to work with them.
Mm. And that can actually help with when the company asks you, have you got any questions? You can have some really wise questions prepared about what you've read about them, so and come across really confident.
Yeah, absolutely. Tip number 4. Is to have a good CV, or rather not to present yourself with a hastily prepared unprofessional CV. It sounds rather basic, but you'd be surprised how many one-pager, dog-eared CVs that come into the office with no photograph attached, not complete employment details, in some cases no contact details. So even if you have fantastic experience, exactly what the employer is looking for, if they can't contact you, then it's worthless. So please make sure you spend, if you're serious about finding a job, make sure you spend time on working on your CV and ensuring that it's a professional representation of yourself.
Mm. During the interview, it's obvious that you're going to be carrying your mobile phone. I'm sure we're all doing that now. Switch it off. So the tip is, do not answer that telephone. Put it on silent, switch it off, get it out of the way, and certainly don't pick it up. If it does ring by chance, just pick it up and disconnect that call.
At least try and pretend you're embarrassed. You'd be amazed the number of people that actually say, "Excuse me, can I take this?" And you, as a polite person, you tend to say, "Yes, no problem, go ahead," but inside you're thinking, "You've got no chance." Tip number 6. Know what job you're applying for and be committed for the role that you've applied for. Many times in my career, I've interviewed people for a specific position, and companies, when they advertise or when they use a recruitment partner or when they search for a particular job, they're recruiting for a certain position and they're looking for certain skills and abilities in that position. As a candidate, if you've applied for a particular job, make sure that's the job that you want, because again, I've had many interviews where the interview has gone well, we're interested in the candidate, and then the parting words or the question that they ask me before they leave my office is, do you have any other jobs available, because I'm not particularly interested in X destination. And I can tell you that puts a real damper on it and usually means that we don't end up employing that particular person.
During the interview, if you're asked any questions, do not tell lies. So for example, if they're asking you about previous experience or projects that you've been involved in, just tell the truth. If you haven't experienced a particular piece of work, just say that you haven't experienced it, but that lie will eventually, perhaps through reference checking or further interviews, will come out to the open. So hold back on that and tell the truth throughout.
Absolutely. And I think as a final tip of what not to do during a job interview is to make the interviewer's life difficult by giving one-word answers or not supporting how you're answering questions with examples. Most interviewers have been trained on how to ask open questions and how to make the candidate's life easy, but it's also incumbent upon a candidate, especially if they're really interested in working for a company, to make the interview as informative and to flow as well as possible. And it's painful sometimes to sit with a person and ask a question and get 2 or 3 word answers, and you really want them to elaborate, and they're making it hard for you. And all I can say is give full and honest answers with supporting examples wherever you can. Any good interviewer will probe and ask questions to get to the root of what you've said, but try and do that for them and give full and complete answers wherever possible.
Thank you. These are some top tips that both Craig and I have thought about to prepare you a little bit better, and there's something for you to think about when you approach your next interview. I hope it's been helpful for you, and all the best.
Good luck.